Hello everyone, welcome to Caroline's Craftery. Today we are making stuff. We are using some old film. Now I got a whole bunch of these at the Lions. You've probably seen them in a Thrifty Canucks video. This case is empty because I used it. But it had a little film strip type thing in it. And they were from, I'm going to guess, late 60s, early 70s. This is a little cut piece of the film, so it kind of looks like a negative, but they're way brighter, and you can actually see what was on the film. And they were about dinosaurs, weather, scientific things. So we're using those. And I used some die cuts, and I cut some out. This is what we're making. We've got little film strips, and I think these look very cool. And then just a film strip. You can kind of make out the dinosaur, a little tag, and then the viewfinder. But these turned out really good. You don't have to use film strip though. And I've got some samples that I'll show at the end. So this is the tag that I used. And it cuts out 2 holes. So it's like this. I don't know where I got this. I've had it a long time. And this is the first time I've used it. And then I used this die set. Now this is a new one from Sizzix. Vaulty Picture Show, I think it's called. But it's got the viewfinder, the film strip. So I used, well actually I used all the die cuts because these, hopefully there's not too much of a glare, but these cut out the inside for these. So you kind of need a die set, you kind of don't. I know everybody won't have this, but I'm using what I got. I bought this off of Amazon just after he released this a couple months ago. So, okay. So I've done the die cutting because I can't do it on camera the way my setup is. And anyways, this here also has a cutout. So, like to cut out the round circle. So you could leave it like this and then make like a card or something out of it. Or you can use the round piece which cuts this out. So, it's kind of nice that it can be used either way. So the first thing I want to do is I want to glue these together. Now I need to line up. This is probably the hardest part of using this die, is lining these two up. I am going to use art glitter glue. So got that lined up, so I'll keep my finger at the top. And I'm going to like mass make a bunch of these, and I will show you a bunch of samples and stuff, but I just wanted to show you kind of what I did with these. Whoops, now I'm in trouble because I lost what part was at the top. That's okay, we'll find it again in a second. Let's see. Is it this one? No. Is it this one? No. It's right here. So before I start pushing my stuff down, I kind of can maneuver it a little bit, even with the art glitter glue. If it's not lined up perfectly, I am okay with that. Once I ink the edge, so I've cut out some little just white cardstock, and I'm going to glue these all down. Now there's other ways of doing these, but this is the way I did it. And I love how they turned out. Just gonna glue all this. And that can just kind of go anywhere because I've got to cut this out. And for this here, I went and I cut the centers out. Got this here. So I just put this part on top of my film and cut it out. So let's glue this one on. These were time consuming in some ways and not in other ways. The die cutting was definitely the longest. And I will also admit that die cutting these film strips out, because they were like rolled up, they were really hard to work with because everything had to be taped down, and you can see how this one is still curved, right? Because it's curled up, it's rolled up in a ball. These two that I'm putting in the tags, the holes in this were too big for the film strip. So I used negatives for that. Much easier to work with because negatives are flat. So something to consider when you're looking for old films, etc. But the films do show up way better on the items. Now this one here, I did use the film strip, and you can see the line, which I guess was okay. I could have used it, but the other ones I used negatives for. But you can see quite good what they are. You can see those dinosaurs and stuff. So 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Now comes the harder, not the harder part, but it's a little bit time consuming. Now because these are negatives, you can't really see what is in them. That one looks like some kind of park or something. But all that I'm going to do is I'm going to put my glue in here. And I did find that the negative part, you could see the glue behind it. Not really see the glue, but you could see where the glue was. You're not going to be able to see it on camera. But because the negatives are so dark, you can't really see it. So I give it an extra second because of the negative kind of being like plastic type. And this looks like a tent out in the bush. But once it's down, you won't see it at all. You might be able to make out what it is, but you'll be lucky. So I'm just going to spread this out a little bit with my finger. And you can see, you'll be able to see it better when I put it against the white. But even the negative was a little bit too narrow. You can see the lines there. If I lined the die up perfectly, I could avoid that little bit. But I don't mind that, actually. So there is that part. Now let's do this one. This one's going to be really easy. Just make sure that, well, I guess it doesn't really matter which way because this can go either way. but I really loved how the finished things turned out. Again, I'm just gonna spread that out a little bit on my finger. And put this down. Now you can see the size of this and how you've got the edge of the film strip there. And to me, that's okay. I don't mind that, actually. It adds kind of nice. It's got some writing along there, which is fine. And give it a good push down. It's the one thing I found, because the film is curved like that. I had to be a little carefuler on gluing it down, making sure that it was down there really good. So now there's that one. Now these I cut out, and these, I will admit, these were a pain in the butt to cut out of the film strip. I love how they turned out, but they were a bit of a pain in the butt. Now I hold them with my tweezers and I make sure these are going the right way. Now you don't have to use film strips. You could use any kind of little pictures, which I'll show you shortly. And these just get glued in. Now these fit very, very nice into here. Very nice. But then I just glue them all down, and what I do is I make sure they're the right way in my tweezers. So then I can put them down. Now in the smaller area, I find I couldn't see the glue. I think because the glue just gets pushed around more and kind of goes all over. Give that a good push down. And these ones are all dinosaur ones that I pulled out for this. I did try to stay in the theme of things for each strip, which you will also see in a moment. So I'm not going to glue them all down because you get the idea. And this one here is a different size. And again, these were a bit of a pain in the butt, but well worth it. Now these ones, I didn't care quite so much which way they went because it's round. Some of them are going to be upside down. But the same thing with these. Put some glue down. And put these down. Hold it down. I usually held it down for about 10 seconds just to make sure. As I say, I'm not quite so worried about which direction these ones are in. These are not quite square. So, but there's that, and you get the idea of that one too. I'll finish those up off camera. Now let's bring in this pile of stuff. Let's see here. Let's move these ones. I finished some up totally just so you could take a peek. These are all the inside pieces of all of these. Not sure what I'll do with that, but I figured they got to be good for something. But now here is some of the view masters that I did. I'm going to leave them at this stage until I know what I'm going to put them into a journal. But I did finish them off. They're all backed. And then here is some just using some pretty little flower pictures that I had. All these flowers are from digitals that I have in the shop. Can't remember what the name of it is, but they were just little tiny cards, and I just die cut. Now, die cutting these little flowers out of paper was way, way easier. And then there's that one. And then I've got a whole bunch of the little film strips. So I got to cut all these out. Got a bunch of the tags. Love how they looked. A bunch of those film strips. And then I've done them in both. Now these are done with the negatives. And you can see, like, I think you can see in the camera that that's actually two people standing there. But you can barely make them out. Camera, they might just look like a couple blobs. And then we've got these bigger film strips. Now, I don't know if you can see, but on here you can see 3 lines on that lighter spot. And that is the glue. But it looks okay. And then here's a whole bunch of the film strips of dinosaurs, and these are kind of about water. There was one about water and clouds and all that. But I think they turned out really good. Now here is some stuff that I made. There is this. It's a bookmark. This is double layered cardstock because I was putting that on there. But then I just decorated it a little bit. Put some lace, a couple old pieces of lace. But I think that turned out really cute. We've got a little one of the little tags. I just put a little flower cluster and this little shiny butterfly. Let's bring that closer. Now you can sort of see this negative, but most negatives are too dark to really see. And I think you can see that there's a lady there and there's actually a child there, but you can't see anything. Now this is a double paper clip. And it just slides. Make sure I don't snag my flower. But it slides over your page like that. So then you have it on both sides. Love how that turned out. We have one of the small single negatives. And this is an old thing from the piano rolls. And I was using one of the piano rolls that I have, and I cut that off and I had it in a jar. So I thought that would look kind of cool on there. So it's kind of made a little thing to make it into a tag. We have another little tag here with just some decorations. Turned out very cute. We have one of the Viewmasters here, just with a flower, and there's a little cluster of lace and fabric there. Then there's this one. This is one with the negatives. And I wasn't sure what to put in the middle of these, but I had these kind of very plain, and then I put a brad that's kind of velvet on the top. But with this, I'm thinking, let's just bend this up a little bit. You could make this into a fun embellishment in a book that actually turned around. So I was thinking like on the edge of a page, so that this was just sticking out over the edge. Can't do it on here because the brad is sticking out. But you know, like it would sit like this on the edge, and then you could turn it. So all that I'd have to do is put it through the page and then put something round back here, but not glue the brad down, just glue something on the edge so that the brad could still turn. So I thought that would be kind of a clever, nice interactive piece, and then you could tuck things behind it and whatnot. This is my favorite, and I was thinking belly band when I made this. Now I had this piece of fancy lace. It's got sequences, and I've had it for a long time, and I've been wanting to use it up, and this was the perfect project to use it on. And I just got a bow up there and a flower down there, and that's using one of the little film strips with the flowers. Love how it turned out. I love this lace. It was so pretty. I was glad that I finally got to use it. So these are what I've been doing, and I will leave the rest unfinished until I know what kind of journal they're going to go in. So I will just put them aside and have them on the ready. But they turned out really good, so I'll cut all these apart, and I'll probably ink the edges. And then they'll be ready to make whatever out of. I think this is going to make an awesome belly band in a journal. So that's what I've been up to. As I do more of these and possibly finish some of them, I will show it in What's Up videos. But this is some fun that I've been having. Hope you enjoyed it. As I say, this is die set you could find on Amazon or maybe your favorite scrapbooking store or something. I really like it. I like how this turned out, with the little film strip being my favorite, and then the Viewmaster. And the other ones are okay. I don't mind them at all. And stay tuned for a project with these things. I got a couple ideas. I hated to throw them away, so we'll give that a try. But if you've got some negatives or some film strips and you have this die, I think they look excellent. This one here was a test one, and I messed up on the bottom 3 because there's 7 film things on one of these, and I messed up on the bottom couple, so I just made it a bit shorter. You can use it as an embellishment or put it onto a pocket or something. So there we go. Check out the links below. I appreciate you watching, and I thank you for subscribing, sharing, liking, all that stuff. Check out the links, the shops, and check out some of my other videos. Thanks for watching, and see you soon. Bye.